Hey teachers, I hope you're having a great weekend. This is just going to be a really quick tutorial on how to take your Google Classroom grades and send them over to Renweb. So I have a bunch of assignments here that I've returned grades for. The first thing I'd mention to you is that you don't have to put all of these assignment grades over into Renweb. You're still in control of what part of their work is going to factor into their fourth quarter grade. So once you decide what assignment you want to import, we're going to go over to Renweb, because the basic idea here is that you're going to have to add the assignment in both places. You have to add it in Google Classroom, which we're doing already as part of their daily work, and then you go and add it in Renweb, and just a few extra clicks will link it to that assignment. So I'm in the classroom portion of Renweb 1. I'm looking at my grade book, and I've changed it to fourth quarter, and I'm going to add an assignment. And the key piece to this puzzle is at the bottom. If you scroll down, there's a checkbox for Google Classroom, which could create a new Google Classroom assignment if you wanted. I'll show you that later, because I think what we're more often going to do is link to an assignment that we've already made. So if you click on the words Create New, you'll get this list of assignments, and unfortunately there's no organization. They're just in alphabetical order. There's no due date or topic sort of way to reorder them. I also haven't found a way to search for them, so that's going to be cumbersome because this list is going to get really long. And I would also note that if you have you need to uniquely name all of your assignments in Google Classroom. Even if you have the same sort of assignment in two different topics, add something to its name so you know which topic it was in, so that you'll be able to find it in this list. If you want to import it to Renweb, you'll need to be able to find it in this list. So choosing that actually only is going to allow us to pull the grades in. It doesn't pull anything else in. You can see there's no title, the dates and the number of points won't match. So you have to add all of that in yourself. So choose a category. This is where you're going to be able to weight your assignments in your percentage system by category. Give it a title. It doesn't have to be exactly the same as in Classroom. You can add more information, which I normally would, but let's skip it for now. The date that the assignment was due. Most of you are going to leave this max points as 100, but I use a point system, so that's why I'm changing it. And then when you close it and you're looking at all of your grades, we've got this new button up here because of all the work that Miss Bowman did along with Miss Dunlap to load grades from Google Classroom. And you can check all of the assignments that have been linked. You can do multiple at one time, and it'll pull those grades in exactly as you've entered and return them to the students. They have to have been returned grades. And they're saved now, and you can go on and go to the next assignment. So that's the basics of how you import it. And you could stop the video here and go play around with it. Let me answer a few extra questions that might come up. One is I have a student that's missing that assignment. So in junior high and high school, we put a 1 in there. And that sends an email to the students since it's a failing grade, and it's kind of a reminder that it's missing and needs to be made up. So yeah, I would go ahead and do that. But the note that I want to make is that this doesn't change what's happening over in Google Classroom. Nothing, if you've already created the assignment in Google Classroom, there's nothing that you can do in Renweb to mess that assignment up, to change its details, to change its date, to delete it. You can't do any of that from here if you made the assignment over in Google Classroom. I'm going to take that off for right now. The second question I might answer is about copying classes to another Renweb course. I have to do that often between my 2 biology classes or 2 chemistry classes. So if I want to copy this over to the other biology class, then what I would say based on my playing around with it is it copies the Renweb assignment details, but not the Google Classroom link. So you'll have to go over to that class, find the assignment, and scroll to the bottom, and you'll have to check box the Google Classroom and find in this class's list, which is probably going to be the same, what you want to link it to, and then you can save it and pull the grades in. The next thing I would note is about deleting assignments. If you have linked a Google Classroom assignment and decide later you don't want it to be part of their Renweb grade, you can choose delete. And like I was saying before, this is not going to affect what's happening over in Google Classroom. It even reminds you here, you can only delete it in Google Classroom, but that's a little bit misleading. You can delete it in Renweb. You're deleting it from your Renweb gradebook, but it's still over in Google Classroom. And then the last maybe little question I would answer would be about that Create New feature. So let me show you what that looks like. When you're creating a new assignment, it'll send it over to Google Classroom and create the assignment there. And what I had hoped is that filling in this extra information field would be like our instructions. Choosing a date that you assign it would be like when it's scheduled. Let me choose a future date so you can see what that would be like, and then you choose a due date, and hopefully that would transfer over. Number of points, which again I would change, but you probably wouldn't. That was my hope, but if I choose Google Classroom here and choose Create New, you can see you can make it a question, but most of the time it'll be made into an assignment. Once I save that, it's going to update into Google Classroom pretty quickly. So I think it was in the other biology class. You'll find it in your classwork tab, and you'll see that it's just a draft. It's not scheduled, and when you click in, it doesn't have those instructions. It doesn't have the dates or anything like that. You'll have to put a topic. You would have had to do that anyway, but it doesn't pull in all the other information. So the Create New from Renweb doesn't seem to be like the best option as far as having a streamlined process. I'm probably going to keep creating things from Google Classroom and then just linking them. If you have created the assignment starting in Renweb, then when you delete it, it'll delete it from your gradebook. It's talking about Renweb. You can also choose to remove it from Google Classroom. So this is the only case where you doing something in Renweb could affect what's happening over in Google Classroom because you started from Renweb in the first place. So I hope that's enough information to get you started. If you have any questions as you're going through, then just leave a comment, and hopefully we can play around with it and figure out the answers together. All right, see you later.